Hey guys, welcome to Earth Hand and Fiber. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little small gnomes, which are perfect for making little holiday garlands or hiding around the house for your kids to find or present toppers. Let's get started. We're going to start with our gnome hat. So I'm going to make this hat in red. So start with a magic ring. This is how I make mine, but you can always do a chain 2 and then work 4 single crochet into the second chain from your hook, or 4 single crochet into your magic ring. I'm using a 5mm hook here, and for me it's just my favorite size, although you may find that you want to go down a size for this particular pattern because you will see some gaps and holes, but that's totally up to your preference. This pattern is really not fussy at all. Okay, we're going to close our ring. And we're going to do 2 rows of single crochet all the way around. So sometimes this first one is a little tough to get into, but that's okay. We're just going to push right in. And this is going to be the top of your gnome hat. So it's going to be skinny up top. So 4 single crochet around. I'm going to use a little stitch marker. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure that you push the tip out like that. And that's the top of your gnome hat. We're going to do 1 more row of 4 single crochets around. For row 4, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase. So single crochet, put our stitch marker, and then we'll do an increase. Okay, then single crochet. And increase. And that last stitch of the row. So you should end with 6 stitches in that row. Okay, I'm going to cut this tail off a little bit just to get it out of our way. Okay. For the next row, we're going to do the same. Single crochet increase all the way around. Single. This is what your hat should look like so far. And then row 6, we're going to do 9 single crochets around. For row 7, we're going to do single increase 4 times, single crochet increase, And then in the last stitch, we're just going to do a single crochet. This is our last increase, and there should be one stitch left in the row, and we're going to just do a single crochet there. Okay. Then we're going to do 2 rows of single crochet all the way around. You should have 13 stitches in these rows. Now at the end of row 9, you're going to cut this color, and we're going to do an invisible fasten off. Doesn't need to be very long, maybe a couple of inches, and pull the yarn all the way through. And then we're going to go into the stitch right after our stitch marker with our crochet hook going from the inside of the hat out like this. You're going to grab the yarn tail and you're going to pull it through. Pull it through like this. Okay, you can take your stitch marker out now. Now the last stitch was this one here. We're actually going to go into the back loop of that stitch with your crochet hook, grab your yarn tail again and pull it through. And that leaves you with what's called an invisible fasten off. So we're not going to bother with sewing that tail in at all. We're just going to stuff it into the hat because we're actually going to use hot glue to attach the hat to the gnome's body, and that should hold the tail as well. And then next we're going to attach the brim color. Increase. And then a single in the next, single crochet, and then a single crochet increase. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around the brim of your hat. And then when you get to the last stitch, you just do one single crochet. Okay, and then to finish off the row, you're going to do a slip stitch into that first standing single crochet. And then cut the yarn. And again, we're going to do another invisible stitch, invisible fasten off. So we'll skip one stitch, go in from the back, pull the yarn all the way through. This was our last working stitch here. I'm going to pull that through. And so now you have a nice finished brim of your hat. There we go. There's our little gnome hat. For my gnome body, I'm going to use this beautiful royal blue. We're going to start with a magic ring of 6 with 6 single crochets. You can also do a chain 2 and work 6 single crochets into the second chain from your hook, that works just as well. So I have my 6 single crochets. Now I'm going to pull the tail. And for row 2, we're going to do 6 increased stitches. So 2 single crochets into each stitch. The first one's always a little tricky for me, but it will get easier as you go. So starting with the first stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets, and I'm going to place my stitch marker to keep me on track. And now you may need to tighten your magic ring again at this point if it's come loose like mine has. And you'll notice that I do have quite a bit of holes because I'm using a quite large crochet hook for this yarn. It just happens to be my favorite hook size, so I like to use it. For this project, the holes don't really bother me too much, but if it does bother you, I would go down a size or 2 or 3 in crochet hook, and you'll get your tighter stitches and less holes. So for rows 3 through 5, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. You should have 12 stitches per row. That was row 3. Now we're on to row 4. Also 1 single crochet in each stitch. I'm going to turn my piece right side out. And the last row, row 5 of single crochets all the way around. Okay. Then for row 6, you're going to do decrease, single crochet, and repeat that pattern all the way around. That's my decrease. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet. I'm going to stuff this tail inside just to get it out of my way. At this point, I would probably stuff it just a little bit. So I'm going to take just a smidge of my stuffing because the hole gets a bit smaller after this row. Okay. And this is our last row here. We're going to do decrease single crochet all the way around, but on the last stitch of the round you're just going to do a decrease at the end. So decrease, So these are the last 2 stitches of the round here. We're just going to do a decrease there. Okay, and then you can cut a little bit of a tail here, maybe 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches. We're going to use this tail to close the opening. So you can actually just pull the yarn all the way through. Let's take our stitch marker out, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more stuffing if I can squeeze it in there. I'll use my hook. Okay, and then we'll take our tapestry needle and we're going to close the opening. Now to close the opening, I like to use the front loops of the piece, and I just weave in and out. So I'm going to go into front to back on the first stitch and then back to front on the second stitch. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. And pull it tight. So this is the part that's going to be hidden underneath our hat, so it doesn't need to be too perfect. And in fact, I'm going to cut this yarn a little bit shorter. We're going to hide that tail underneath the hat, and it's going to be secured with the hot glue, so no need to tie any ends or anything like that. Next up, we're going to glue on some of our faux fur yarn. This is from Yarn Bee. It's called For the Love, and I'm going to use about a 1-inch piece. It's pretty thick, so I don't need to fold it over for this because it's such a small little gnome. But if your yarn is a little bit thinner, you might need to do a double piece like this. For example, I have this white one that's significantly thinner, so sometimes I'll actually fold it over to create the beard. You need about 1-inch piece. And we're going to take our hot glue, and I'm going to just glue directly onto this piece, a line, and then place my fur on there. And it can go a little bit high up because we're going to actually add the hat here in a moment. For these tails, you can just tuck them right up into the hat, and that'll actually help provide a little bit of shape to your hat as well. And you could stuff it if you want it to have a more full effect. Now in the pattern it says that you can sew using these back loops if you want to sew this hat to your gnome, but honestly, since we're hot gluing the beard already, I prefer to hot glue because it's the easiest and the quickest. So what I'm going to do is just take my hot glue and I'm going to put a good amount right inside. And I'm going to put that right on top like that. Okay, now of course he's missing something, right? He needs his nose. So what I'll do, let's see. I have a couple different colors. Let's see what looks best. Should we go with a dark nose? I'm kind of thinking maybe this medium color. Yeah, I'll go with the medium color this time. And the easiest way that I've found to glue the nose, rather than putting the glue directly on the fur, is to put the glue on the bead itself. You could use buttons, you could use sequins, whatever you want. Just have fun with it. And I'm going to stick it right there in the middle of the beard. I actually like it to be kind of tucked under the hat a little bit. Like that. Isn't that cute? And then the last thing to do is to trim your beard. So this one actually looks pretty good, but you could kind of trim it around just to kind of shape it if you want to. You could use regular yarn for the beard. Just have a good time with it. There's really no rules. And it's nice and simple. And there we have our two little small gnomes. I'd love to see your creations too. You can follow me over on Instagram at earth.hand.fiber or on Facebook, Earth Hand and Fiber. Happy crocheting!